I know you can't believe it's that time again. It is back to school season, which can quietly create insurance gaps that many parents do not discover until something goes wrong. Your teenager may now be driving to school every day. Your college student may be living in a dorm or renting an apartment. New laptops, instruments, sports equipment, and other expensive items may be leaving the house regularly. The problem is that your insurance coverage does not automatically adjust simply because your family's routine changed. For example, a stolen laptop may fall below your deductible. An unlisted teenage driver could create questions after an accident. Your homeowner's policy may protect a student living in a dorm, but that same protection may change when the student moves into an off-campus apartment. Stay with me until the end, because I'm going to give you a simple back-to-school protection checklist that parents can complete in about 15 minutes. So let's get started. The first item on the checklist is your student driver. If your teenager recently received a license, started driving to school, got a job, or began using a different vehicle, your insurance company may need updated information. Allow me to explain it like this. A licensed teenager who regularly drives a household vehicle should generally be disclosed to the insurance company. If that driver is not properly listed, an accident could lead to coverage questions, claim delays, or additional premiums being charged. This is why parents should also confirm which vehicle the student drives most often, where that vehicle is kept, and how many miles the student drives. If your child is attending college more than 100 miles from home without taking a vehicle, you need to ask if the Away at School student discount is available. Good student discounts may also be available when the student meets the company's academic requirements. This is not simply about finding a discount. It is about making sure the policy accurately reflects how the vehicle is being used and who is driving it. Once the vehicles and drivers are correct, the next question is whether your student's belongings are properly protected. One problem is many parents assume their homeowner's insurance automatically protects everything a child takes to college. In most cases, homeowner's insurance provides limited protection for a student living in a dorm, but the amount and conditions can vary by insurance company and policy. However, the situation may change. When the student lives in an off-campus apartment, a separate renter's insurance policy may be the better option, and some landlords will require it. Therefore, renter's insurance can help protect clothing, furniture, electronics, and other personal belongings against covered losses. It can also provide personal liability protection if the student accidentally damages the apartment or someone is injured because of another student's actions. Think of it like this. Liability protection is often more important than the belongings. For example, imagine that your college student accidentally starts a kitchen fire while cooking. The fire damages the apartment, part of the building, and another tenant's property. Without the right liability coverage, that mistake could become a serious financial problem for the family. So before school starts, confirm where your student lives, what coverage may extend from your policy, and whether a separate renter's policy is needed. After confirming where the student's belongings are covered, take a closer look at what those belongings are worth. Now, let's talk about how back-to-school purchases can add up quickly. A laptop, tablet, smartphone, musical instrument, camera, sports equipment, and clothing could represent several $1,000s in property. Make sure you don't assume every type of damage is covered. Homeowners and renters, insurance normally protect property against specific covered events, such as theft or fire. They may not cover a student dropping a laptop, cracking a screen, spilling a drink on a device, or simply losing the item. This is why the policy deductible also matters. If a stolen laptop is worth $1,200 and the homeowner's deductible is $1,000, the policy may provide very little after the deductible is applied. Filing a small claim may not always be the most practical decision. Parents make sure to keep receipts, record serial numbers, take pictures of valuable items, and confirm whether any expensive equipment needs separate protection. And don't forget this, school-issued devices may also come with specific financial responsibilities that parents should review. Now, once the property is accounted for, the next concern is how students are getting to school and who may be riding with them. Back to school often means carpools, shared rides, borrowed vehicles, and busy transportation schedules. If your teenager regularly drives siblings, classmates, or teammates, review the auto liability limits on your policy. An accident involving several passengers can create medical bills and liability expenses that grow very quickly. Why? Because state minimum liability limits may not provide enough protection for a serious accident. The next concern parents should be mindful of is when teenagers regularly exchange vehicles with friends. Insurance usually follows the vehicle first. The policy language, excluded drivers, household members, and regular vehicle use can affect how a claim is handled. A person who drives a vehicle frequently may need to be listed instead of being treated as an occasional driver. Here's a realistic example. A parent allows a teenager to drive the family vehicle to school. The teenager begins picking up 3 classmates every morning. One rainy day, the teenager loses control and causes an accident. Several passengers are injured. At that point, the question is no longer whether the vehicle has insurance. The question is whether the family purchased enough liability coverage to protect its income and other assets. That is why I recommend reviewing the liability limits before your school routine begins, not after an accident. We've looked at how auto and property coverage protection is an important piece of the family plan, but the largest financial risk may still be the loss of a parent's income. Back to school is also a good time to review the protection behind your family's education plans. Ask yourself one simple question. If something happened to me, would my family still be able to pay for housing, food, school expenses, transportation, and future education costs? This is where life insurance can help replace income if a parent passes away. On the flip side, disability insurance can help protect part of a parent's income when an illness or injury prevents that parent from working. The most important thing for parents to do is review your coverage amounts, beneficiary information, and the length of time the protection is expected to last. When you look at the timeline, a child starting kindergarten, entering high school, or leaving for college, these events can change the number of years a family still depends on a parent's income. The goal is not to buy a product simply because school is starting. The goal is to make sure the family protection plan still matches the responsibilities you as a parent have today. Now let me bring these items together into one practical review. Here's a checklist I recommend completing before the school year begins. First, confirm that every licensed household driver is properly disclosed and assigned to the correct vehicle. Second, update vehicle usage, mileage, garaging address, and college location. Third, ask about good student and away at school discounts. Fourth, determine whether a college student needs renter's insurance for a dorm or off-campus apartment. Fifth, photograph and document laptops, electronics, instruments, and expensive school equipment. Sixth, review your auto liability limits if your teenager will be driving passengers or participating in a carpool. Finally, review your life insurance, disability coverage, and beneficiary information to make sure your family's education plans do not depend entirely on income that can suddenly disappear. In the end, insurance policies and company requirements can differ, so review these questions with your insurance professional instead of making assumptions. Completing this checklist does not take long, but it can reveal gaps before your family settles into a new routine. Back-to-school protection involves more than buying supplies and updating the calendar. It means confirming who is driving, where your children are living, how their belongings are protected, whether your liability limits are adequate, and what would happen to the family plan if your income stopped. The best time to correct an insurance gap is before the accident, theft, fire, or illness occurs. A short review now can provide greater clarity throughout the school year. Now, if this content was helpful, place a thumbs up in the comment section. This really helps with engagement and assists with pushing out this video to others. Also, word of mouth is good too. So please share this content with someone who may benefit from this topic. Then check out my video library. I have information on home, auto, business, specialty insurance, and retirement. With all this being said, subscribe to my channel and help me get to 1,000 subscribers. But don't stop here. Check out my next video for more insurance and financial tips. And as I like to say, call Jay today.